Why did every girl in my family lose their hair at 13? I found my sister's scalp in a jar under my grandmother's bathroom sink when I was 11. Not skin, not hair, her actual scalp, preserved in clear liquid, with her name and date written on the label in my grandmother's perfect cursive. I dropped the jar, and it didn't break, just rolled across the tile floor while I stood there trying to understand what I was looking at. The thing in the liquid had bumps all over it, small dark growths clustered in spiral patterns. They were moving, pulsing slowly like tiny hearts beating in rhythm. I heard footsteps coming up the stairs and shoved the jar back under the sink, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it again. When my grandmother walked in, I was washing my hands, trying to look normal. She smiled at me in the mirror, that cold smile that never reached her eyes. "Snooping, darling?" she asked sweetly. I shook my head, but she'd already seen my face. She knew. That night at dinner, my grandmother announced it was time to schedule my ceremony. I was turning 13 in 2 weeks, which meant I was ready for what she called the family tradition. My mother nodded approvingly while cutting her chicken into precise small bites. My sister Violet stared at her plate, her completely bald head reflecting the chandelier light. She'd been bald for 6 months now, ever since her own ceremony. I'd asked her once what happened during it, and she'd just looked at me with empty eyes and whispered, "You'll understand soon." Every Whitmore girl lost her hair at 13. No one outside the family knew why. Now I'd seen that jar, seen what was left of Violet's scalp preserved like some kind of medical specimen, and I was supposed to just sit here eating green beans and pretend everything was normal. After dinner, I waited until everyone was asleep, then snuck back into my grandmother's bathroom. I needed to see that jar again, needed to confirm I hadn't imagined it. But when I looked under the sink, there were 5 more jars I hadn't noticed before, each one labeled with a name and date. My mother's scalp from 1995, my Aunt Naomi's from 1998, 2 others from women I didn't recognize, and in the very back, a jar labeled Constance Whitmore, 1893. The scalp inside that one was gray and withered, but the dark bumps covering it were still moving. I photographed everything with my phone, my hands shaking so badly the pictures came out blurry. When I tried to open one of the jars to see what those bumps actually were, it wouldn't budge. The lid was sealed too tight, or maybe locked somehow. I heard my grandmother's bedroom door open down the hall, and I ran, barefoot and silent, back to my room. The next morning, all the photos on my phone were gone. Not deleted, just gone, like they'd never existed. My camera roll showed the pictures I'd taken before and after, but the bathroom photos had vanished completely. At breakfast, my grandmother was watching me over her coffee cup. "Technology is so unreliable," she said pleasantly. "Photos disappear. Videos corrupt. It's why I prefer physical records. They're more permanent." My mother agreed, buttering her toast with mechanical precision. Violet ate her cereal in silence, and I noticed for the first time that her hands trembled slightly as she lifted the spoon. I wanted to ask her what they'd done to her during the ceremony, but my grandmother's eyes were still on me, and I knew somehow that asking would make things worse. So I ate my raw eggs and tried to look calm while my mind raced with images of those preserved scalps. School was the only place I felt safe anymore. I told my best friend Kayla about the jars during lunch, speaking quietly so no one else could hear. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. "Your grandmother keeps scalps in jars? That's insane. You should call the police." But I couldn't explain why I knew calling the police wouldn't help. My family was too careful, too prepared. If those jars had been illegal, they wouldn't be sitting under a bathroom sink where anyone could find them. They'd have better hiding places for actual evidence. Unless, I realized with a cold feeling in my stomach, unless they wanted me to find them. Unless showing me what happened to the other women was part of preparing me for what came next. Kayla made me promise to text her after my ceremony to let her know I was okay. I promised, but I was already sure I wouldn't be able to keep it. Whatever happened during these ceremonies made girls like Violet go silent and empty. My 13th birthday arrived on a Saturday. My grandmother woke me at dawn by sitting on the edge of my bed, her cold hand stroking my hair. "Today you become a real Whitmore woman," she said softly. "Your mother and I are so proud." She was holding something, a small wooden box that looked ancient. She opened it to show me what was inside, and what I saw shocked me completely. Full story is linked below or on my channel.